Hi friends, today we'll study from the chapter Life Processes from class 10th NCERT, and we'll discuss the introduction of life processes, and we'll study in detail the subtopic that is nutrition. So before we begin, the question comes, criteria to decide whether something is alive, okay? Whether the particular organism is living or non-living. How can we distinguish? Living things, we can distinguish because they can eat, grow, reproduce, and breathe, whereas non-living things, they do not. Okay. The most important criteria to decide whether something is alive is the movement. Now, in some living organism, movement is external and it's visible, but in some organism, it's not visible. So movement is one of, easily metabolic activity, that's life process, which help us to identify whether the particular organism is living or non-living. Now, in this particular chapter in life process, we'll study various life processes like movement, that is changing from place or position, respiration, generation of energy, and sensitivity, that is being aware of the surrounding. This is the other part, which is there in control and coordination. Growth, increase in size or in number. Reproduction, which is also in the other chapter. Excretion and nutrition, obtaining food to build a body. So today we'll study in detail nutrition part. So what are life processes? Okay, so life processes, this includes all the basic important activities performed by an organism to withstand life are called life processes. So these processes help the organism to survive. So life process, as I have told you, includes nutrition, transportation, metabolism, respiration, reproduction, and excretion. So now we'll study about nutrition. Okay, what do you understand by nutrition? So nutrition is a process, okay, by which food is intake by an organism and also utilizes its energy for various metabolic activities. Okay, so nutrients are the substance which provides nutrition, which is there in the particular food. So food is a basic source of energy. According to the nutrition, we have divided into broad category, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition, various mode of nutrition. Now, autotrophic mode of nutrition, it is found only in green plants because they have a chlorophyll in it through which they can make their own food. Whereas in heterotrophic mode of nutrition, it is divided into various parts: holozoic nutrition, saprophytism or saprophytic nutrition, or parasitic. Holozoic nutritions are seen in the higher organism and few insectivorous plant, as well as in the lower organism like unicellular organism we see in amoeba. In saprophytic, we see in bacteria and fungi, where the organism derives its nutrition from the dead and decay organism. Whereas in parasitic, you find these organisms derive their nutrients from the living host, okay, in which they derive the nutrition from the host where the host is harmed. Example, you can see those are tapeworm, lice, fleas, and even leeches will come under the same category of heterotrophic nutrition. Now here in the holozoic mode of nutrition, that is amoeba, I'll just explain you how does the amoeba engulf the food. In heterotrophic mode of nutrition, there are 5 basic steps, that is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. In ingestion, the amoeba draws a false feed called pseudopodia, and the pseudopodia will engulf the food, forming a vacuole into it. So you can see it forms a food vacuole, and the food vacuole, the food particle enters into the food vacuole. Now slowly this food which is there in the vacuole, okay, gets digested. And the third portion, all the nutrients are absorbed by the amoeba. And the fourth, it gets assimilated, that is various metabolic activity, okay, they take away all the absorption of nutrients for various activity. And lastly, you see it is the egestion. Now, we'll go in detail about the autotrophic mode of nutrition. You all know autotrophic mode of nutrition. It is seen in green plants, where green plant prepare their own food by the help of sunlight, okay, and the raw material utilizes carbon dioxide and water on the green parts, giving a glucose, and oxygen is released. Okay, so this is, we all know, and this reaction is important for us to remember. So coming up, this is also important, the steps of photosynthesis. What are the steps? Okay, in photosynthesis. First, the light is absorbed, okay, by chlorophyll. Then conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. And lastly, we have reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Okay, this is there. Will study more in detail when I teach, when you learn the structure and function of chloroplast. So this is the site of photosynthesis. The chloroplast, which is there, which is a double bounded organelle, which is there in the green parts of a plant. Maximum it is seen in the leaves. Okay, so this is the structure. So here I'll show you in detail. It has a waxy cuticle, upper epidermis, chloroplasts are there on the palisade layer. There are few veins, spongy layers, lower epidermis, there are some few air spaces are there, and there is a stomata also into it. Now let us see in detail the structure of chloroplast. A chloroplast, as I've told you, it is a double membrane bound. There's outer membrane and inner membrane, okay? And there are few coin-like structure we call thylakoids. Now these thylakoids are stacked together forming a granum. Okay. Now this granum, these 2 or 3 thylakoids or the granums are connected by a stroma laminal, and the space between the granum, it is a stroma. So when you see this photosynthesis in the higher classes, you learn it is divided into 2 reactions, that is light reaction and dark reaction. Light reaction means the reaction that occurs in presence of light, and the dark reaction, which is also known as light independent reaction, which occurs in stroma. So light independent reaction occurs in stroma, and the light dependent reaction occurs in thylakoid. So this light dependent reaction that occurs in thylakoids makes an energy rich molecule like ATP and NADPH, which ultimately helps to reduce the carbon dioxide which is there in stroma. So reduction of carbon dioxide forming a carbohydrate happens in stroma, that is in the dark reaction. These are important diagram which we need to know, that is the cross-section diagram of a leaf and also the diagram of a stomata. Okay, kindly note this. Now in this particular topic, we should also remember a few of the important experiment. Few questions are asked on the basis of the experiment. Now, first experiment, it is that chlorophyll is important for photosynthesis. So when you see in the figure A, we have taken a variegated leaves. So variegated leaves means the leaves that have a patches of green as well as yellow color. So when this leaf is undergone for a starch test, you'll find the green part of the leaf becomes a bluish black, stating that this part, the starch has been formed, whereas the part which was not green in color, it remains as a brownish yellow in color. Okay. Now all this process of iodine starch test, you all know how do we go through it. I'll explain you in detail in the next slide. So another experiment, it is the experiment that will help us to know the carbon dioxide is also important factor for photosynthesis. So this is a bell jar experiment where in the first, that is A bell jar, you'll see there is a plate where they have a potassium hydroxide, whereas in bell jar B, there is no potassium hydroxide. Now what is happening here in the bell jar A, there is a limited carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is absorbed by potassium hydroxide. So there is a deficient of carbon dioxide in the bell jar A, whereas in bell jar B, there is maximum carbon dioxide compared to bell jar A. So ultimately, when you test for the starch content in the particular leaf, you will find that in bell jar A, the starch content is less compared to that in the bell jar B, stating that in bell jar A, there was a potassium hydroxide which has absorbed the carbon dioxide. Okay, next experiment which is there, you'll see the experiment to show that light is important for photosynthesis. Similar experiment only here, only thing we have to do, we'll keep a potted plant and one of the leaf will cover with a tape, okay, black tape, and keep it on the sunlight. After that, we will go for a iodine starch test. So when you see the area covered by a tape remains colorless, whereas the one that was exposed to sunlight turns bluish black, stating that sunlight is important for photosynthesis. Now, when you see in the other diagram, you'll see the procedure to decolorize the leaf and to test the presence of starch. So when you see leaf, we need to boil it in water, then leave in alcohol heat in water bath to decolorize the leaf. So here, to decolorize the leaf means we have two jars. The bigger jar has a water, and the smaller jar there is alcohol, and you dip the leaf to decolorize the leaf. To decolorize means so that the chlorophyll is decolorized. So the other um, absorption or the formation of starch will not take place. And after cleaning, you will go for the iodine solution. So when you go for iodine test, you'll see that the area where which was exposed to light turns bluish black in color, whereas the one that was not exposed remains brownish yellow in color. Okay, this is the experiment that shows that light is essential for photosynthesis. Okay, now let us see. These are a few of the frequently asked questions. It comes, what do you understand by life processes? What are the different life processes in human beings? Which life process can be observed in plant? You can see those sensitivity, growth, excretion. Okay, the end product you can observe in plant. Then what is the importance of life processes? Now all these life process helps us to maintain the homeostasis in the body, helps us our body to survive with the changes in environment. Okay, metabolic activities, everything's come into consideration. And the other question is, what are the common life processes seen both in plant and animal? The common, you'll see it's respiration, growth, nutrition, transportation, reproduction, and excretion. And how does respiration help in carrying out the life processes? So how does the respiration help in carrying out life processes? Because respiration is nothing but it is the oxidation of food through which the energy is produced in the form of ATP, and this energy is utilized for the various metabolic activities in the organism. Thank you so much. Hope you have understood the topic nutrition from the chapter life processes. See you in my next presentation. Have a nice day.